What's up YouTube, this is Tubedigga. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a natural sounding boom bap drum kit using Drumsynth in Mpc 2.9. Before I get into this video, I just want to thank all my current subscribers, anyone that's liked and shared my videos, anyone that follows and supports me on social media, all of my Patreon supporters. If you're interested in becoming one of my patrons, please head over to www.patreon.com/Tubedigga. Every week I give away a new sample pack or something similar like an MPC project, which I'm going to do for this actual video. So if you want the actual Drumsynth patch in this video, please head over to my Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/Tubedigga, and there's a link in the description. I also want to thank anyone that's been kind enough and donated to this channel. If you're interested in doing that yourself, there's a PayPal link in the description and I'll be most grateful for your help. Lastly, if you're interested in private lessons with myself over Skype, Google Hangouts or Zoom, please contact me at tubedigga@gmail.com for more details. So I've got a blank project here. Let's first of all switch the track mode to plugins. By default it's Tubesynth. Let's double tap here and go to MPC drum plugins, scroll down and choose Drumsynth Multi. Just to let you know, if you go to menu, preferences, project defaults and go down to the bottom, choose default plugin synth, we can't select Drumsynth Multi as our default plugin. If we press select, we get the error message here saying Drumsynth Multi is not allowed as the default plugin. This operation was not successful. I'm not too sure why that is, but it's probably got something to do with the fact that we can only have one instance of Drumsynth Multi. Maybe it causes some complications if we choose that as the default plugin. Let's just close that. So I've left that at the default, which is Tubesynth. Let's now go to Program Edit. And let's first of all deal with the kick drum. By default, our model for the kick drum is an 808. Let's first of all change the model from 80 to natural A. Let's use the Q links to go across to the fourth bank of Q links. Let's first of all increase the beats to the maximum, and this will really bring out the high frequencies. But underneath that, we can adjust those frequencies. I don't want the high frequencies there. I just want it to give this kick drum a bit of an attack sound. But let's bring the beat color down, which will bring this into more of a low frequency sound. We don't need any noise in there, so let's just take that out. And that's fine. Let's now switch on the EQ. And let's go to the third page for the kick drum. So let's press that once, twice. Now we've got our EQ here. So let's adjust the gain for the high frequencies. So let's use the Q links again to jump across to the gain and the top knob here to adjust the high frequencies. And that takes all the high frequencies out. Let's also adjust the high mids. Now all of these settings are to taste, but this is how I prefer to do it for a natural sounding kick drum. And I want this quite dark, and that's fine for me, so I don't need to adjust any other parameters for the kick drum, although transient can be quite helpful if you want a bit more of an attack. So I've switched on transient. Let's go across to the second page for the kick drum and again jump across with the Q link bank here, and let's increase the attack. And that's the kick drum done. Let's now deal with the snare drum. Now my favourite type of snare sound in general is a side stick snare. I love the crack and the snap of a side stick. I don't really like big, fat, floppy kind of snare drum sounds that ring out too much. I really like short, snappy side stick snares or rim shots. So let's deal with that. Let's go to Drumsynth 2, which is our second pad here. Now, instead of changing the model, first of all, we're going to change snare to percussion. And now we can choose one of the rim shot sounds. So we don't want rim 9 or stick. We want this rim shot here. Again, let's use the Q-Link buttons to get access to these parameters on the Q-Links. Now, these parameters again are just to taste. So this is how I prefer to do it. Just play about with the tones and we can get some more natural sounding rim shot sounds. Let's again jump down to the second set of parameters here. Increase the noise, and we've again got a color parameter for this. And a noise decay. We just want a little bit more of that. Let's go back up to the first set of parameters. Now we've brought the noise in, this will take more of an effect on these. Okay, so that's fine for me. Again, I'm going to switch on my transient for the snare. Go to the second page and give this snare drum a nice amount of attack. Now I'm going to go back to the snare because I'm going to add some reverb and some EQ to it, but I just want to get the hi-hat sorted so we can put a pattern together and have the sounds in context and adjust them on the fly as the sequence plays. So let's go to Drumsynth 3, our hi-hat. I'm going to again change the model from 80 to complex. I'm going to increase the metal parameter to the maximum. Then I'm going to go down to the next set of parameters and decrease the length. I'm going to tap a tempo, something around 85 beats per minute. And I'm just going to put a simple boom bap hip hop style pattern into the sequencer. Let's just go back to the main page and let's add some swing to this. We need to go to the second bank Q-Links here and the third knob, and let's just increase the swing up to 64, which is my preferred swing amount. I'm just going to put a second kick drum somewhere towards the end of the second bar. And then just maybe another one. That's fine. So now we've got a pattern that we can play with and adjust the parameters on the fly and work with these sounds in context. So I'm going to go back to Drumsynth 2, which is our snare or our rim shot. Let's now go to the mixer and adjust the reverb amount for where it says percussion here, which is our rim shot. So let's just give this a few percent reverb. Now that doesn't sound great because I need to actually change the reverb mode. So I'm going to change that to abstract, which will give us a bit more of a tight room sound. We can play about with the time. Again, this is another parameter that you can set to your own taste. And you can play these off with each other, so the settings here and obviously the amount in the mixer. So I'm going to bring that down just slightly. We could also give the hi-hat a little bit of reverb to make it sound like it's in the same space as the snare. And we can possibly give the kick drum. I don't really like putting reverb on kick drums, but we can just give it a little tiny bit. And that's pretty much it for the drum synth settings, but to gel all these together, we need to go to the track mixer and add an insert effect for the entire program, because there isn't a universal compressor or distortion effect that we can apply to the Drumsynth plugin. We have to do it via a main plugin. So there's nothing in here that is like a master. We could go to this second page and switch on distortion or transient or compressor for all of these, but then for every one of these sounds, I mean, I know I've only got 3 of these sounds in here, but we could put a compressor on each of them, but then we've got 3 sets of compression settings that we've got to apply. I want a main compressor to affect this whole thing, and the only way to do that is to add an insert effect. So let's choose plugin, let's go to inserts and choose dynamics, and I'm going to use the air compressor. So we can just affect the ratio and the threshold here and get something a lot more pleasing. Let's go to program edit, and what we can do is automate some of the parameters over just these 2 bars. Obviously if we've got 8 bars we can make this sound a lot more natural, but what I'm going to do is just affect tone 3 of this rim shot or side stick as the sequence plays to give us different snare hits as we go along. So that will be my 3rd cue link. So I'm going to go back to the reverb. Because we've put a compressor on there, it's really accentuating the reverb now. So I'm actually going to take down the mix amount, which is in the 3rd page of the sends. So let's just bring that down a bit for the snare. I'm going to do it on the fly whilst the sequence plays so we can hear what it sounds like in context with everything else. And that's pretty much it. That's how I go about creating a natural sounding boom bap drum kit using Drumsynth in Mpc 2.9. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below. As said at the start of the video, if you want access to weekly sample packs that I'm going to upload, please head over to my Patreon, www.patreon.com/Tubedigga. If you want private lessons with myself, please contact me at tubedigga@gmail.com for more details. And I'll see you on the next one. This is Tubedigga, and I'm out.